If you thought the final battle in Seven Samurai was epic, then there might be a new sheriff in town. So, the Betrayal released in 1966, and it was directed by Tokuzo Tanaka. It stars Raizo Ichikawa, and I always thought of him sort of as the Bruce Lee of chanbara, just because he died real young and he had a lot of talent. So, this is a film that I've never heard of, and I only know about it because I saw it on some top 10 list. And then I saw that it was on SamuraiDVD.com, so I decided to check it out. And it was given to me for purpose of review. So for those of you that don't know, SamuraiDVD.com is the best place to get samurai movies. Most of these films you won't find anywhere else, or you'll just have to pay a fortune on eBay or Amazon for them. So if you're into samurai films, and chances are you are because you're watching my videos, then please check out SamuraiDVD.com. Use the discount code BushidoBlues. So the actor Raizo Ichikawa, and he's famous for his Sleepy Eyes of Death franchise, he plays a samurai named Takuma, and he's a young, talented, yet a bit naive samurai. And basically her father finds out that his nephew was the one that killed the samurai. But he ends up talking Takuma into taking the blame. And Takuma ends up agreeing to this, which is the problem. Part of the reason why he would agree to this was a sense of samurai loyalty. Another part was not wanting to refuse his fiance's father. Takuma ends up running away for a year, and of course this makes him end up looking like the prime suspect to the murder that he's running away from. And then he just has the worst luck from here. It's a tragic story. So most of this film depicts the main character's growing disillusionment with the samurai code. And this isn't the only film to cover this topic. Harakiri, Onibaba, Samurai Rebellion, Ugetsu, they've all covered this topic in, I'll say, more meaningful ways. And all these films have to do with the question about the role of the samurai. The main problem with this film, I think, is that it drags a little bit. I especially found the middle of the film to be a bit too disjointed and kind of scattershot, despite the occasional sword fighting. The action ends up getting spread a little bit too thin, and this allowed it to go on over a dozen different places and encounters that more often than not happen for just the sake of the plot to continue. Like, a convincing reason why Raizo's character takes a peasant as a sidekick is never really given. He just tags along for the ride so that he can betray the main character. When the main character is wounded and falls off of a cliff, a woman magically just comes along to heal him back to life. It's kind of convenient. With that said though, I'm still gonna say that this is still one of Raizo's finest performances. And it demonstrates why nearly 4 decades after his early death from cancer that Raizo still remains one of the most popular Japanese film stars of all time. Raizo was just one of a very select group of actors who could create a very believable model of his virtue. So honestly, the whole time I was watching this, I was kind of just sitting there wondering why this would be on the top 10 list. And then it finally hit me, right at the end. And that's because of its final battle. Right about in the final half hour of the film, I'm going to say the director Tanaka basically redeemed himself for every mistake he made prior. And that is because he stages one of the most gigantic sword fighting spectacles in chanbara history. A giant set piece that involves Raizo Ichikawa single-handedly cutting down 3 armies of extras. A fight that should probably rank up there with the best. If it weren't for the lack of blood, it would definitely fit in with the Lone Wolf and Cub universe. I'm gonna say the most telling moment of what's good in this film happens in this fight. And there's a pretty cool scene that happens after Raizo kills about 100 enemies. His sword breaks, and because he's been clutching the grip for so long and so hard, he has to ply his fingers off one by one just so that he could pick up another sword. It's pure cinema magic, and this fight, along with Raizo's acting, is probably the only real reason to check this film out. So, in the end, this is definitely not one of the best chanbara I've seen recently. It drags often, especially in the middle, and kind of the lack of blood or cuts in the sword fights kind of ruins some of the fighting. But the payoff in the end, and of course Raizo's performance, might just redeem this film. Even from a movie making point of view, this was not an easy scene to do at all, especially for the actors. So I'm gonna praise the director and I'm gonna praise the main actor for pulling this scene off. And for this final fight alone, I can see why someone would put this on their top 10 list. So if you want to see a kind of moderate samurai film, but one that has an awesome main character and an insane final fight, then check this one out. You can get it on SamuraiDVD.com. Don't forget to use the discount code Bushido Blues, and thanks again for watching.